Okay, here we go. Our first stop today is going to be a Three Stooge. We're at the grave location of Curly Joe Derita, known as the Last Stooge. When he died back in '93, the family didn't have the funds to get a headstone, so I'm a member of the Three Stooges fan club. We raised enough money to place the headstone. Did you know there's actually 6 Three Stooges? We have Mo, the leader, his brother Curly, his other brother Shemp, so that's 3. Then we got Larry Fine, Joe Besser, and Curly Joe, the Last Stooge. How about that? Our second stop today is an actress that made her acting debut in a 1958 movie with Steve McQueen called The Blob. 1964, she becomes Andy Taylor's girlfriend in Mayberry, Helen Crump. You can see her in reruns on Gunsmoke, Emergency, and she also hooked up one last time with Andy Griffith in Matlock. Okay, let's see who else we can find here in this cemetery. Or Memorial Park, whatever you want to call it. The next individual we're looking for is right where the sprinklers are. And these things rotate. So I'll probably have to wait until the sprinklers are done. Yeah, look how they turn. It's going to come right here. Okay, the sprinklers finally stopped. Coming up on Mary Catherine Malumbi. How you say it? Malumbi? All right, the sprinklers finally stopped. We can come up on an actress. Her stage name is Jill Banner. Her first acting assignment was in 1964 in the movie Spider Baby. She also featured in an early Burt Reynolds movie in 1970 called Hunters Are for Killing. She allegedly has an affair with Marlon Brando. She ends up leaving Hollywood and gets into real estate in New Mexico. Sadly, on August the 7th, 1982, she's hit while driving her Toyota. She's struck by a truck while driving on Ventura Freeway. She was thrown from the vehicle and later died in North Hollywood. Jill is resting right next to her mother, Muriel Malumbi. She was born in 1919. Buried next to the Mausoleum of Prayer. So she's right here. Right there. Next stop, you probably won't recognize the name of Arthur Q. Bryan, but you'll recognize his cartoon voice because he voiced, let's see, it was Elmer Fudd, Elmer Fudd, right? Yeah. Next stop, you probably won't recognize the name of Arthur Q. Bryan, but you'll recognize his cartoon voices. He did Elmer Fudd, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig.
My name is Wayman Wadcliffe. I used to be a goldfish swallower, but now I'm a racehorse trout. I went to the Derby in 1940. Some of us went by train and some by bus, and a few of us flew. Imagine 60,000 people standing up and chewing their lungs out, and 8 of the finest thoroughbreds in the world racing down toward the finish line. It was lousy.
Close by is Willie Best. He was a 1930s and 1940s African-American actor. Made his way in Hollywood back when there was heavy discrimination. Out this direction is Oliver Hardy, I believe. Let's see if he's over here. Yes, Oliver Hardy. Looks like he was cremated. Who could forget Laurel and Hardy? A genius of comedy, for sure. Stan Laurel, the other half, is buried about 6 miles out this direction. Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, Arizona, which I featured him in another video. We're right next to Burbank Airport, so going to get some noise today. But we found the grave location of Mary Anderson. She's an actress that was originally up for the part of Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. She ends up getting another role in that movie. She played Maybelle Merriweather. Later, she appears in Alfred Hitchcock movies. Also has a regular spot on Peyton Place. Do you remember that from the 1960s, I believe it was? Mary Anderson. Next up is Ukulele Ike. He plays a ukulele in St. Louis in the beer joints. Back in his younger years, he makes his way out here to California. Lands the row. He voices Jiminy Cricket in the Walt Disney production Pinocchio. He also sings When You Wish Upon a Star, for which he wins an Oscar. Sadly, he dies broke. He was buried here for 20 years with no headstone until a fan donated the money to have one placed here. I was looking for an actor named Eddie Firestone, and whoever put the GPS in on Find a Grave did it while they're parked right here. I use Find a Grave primarily to locate grave locations. And the way it's supposed to work is you put the GPS in while you're standing right next to the grave. It makes it much easier to walk up to it. But I'm finding oftentimes that they will write the biography, and then as they get towards their car, they'll enter the GPS. So no luck in finding Eddie Firestone this trip. Maybe next trip. I was looking for the name Nels, and I find this interesting. We have Nels right here, Nels Christensen, but I was looking for Nels Nelson, which isn't a common name, so I find it's interesting that I find two. Nels Nelson plays a munchkin in Gone with the Wind in 1939. A year later, he appears in Ski Patrol and Sporting Blood. These are 1940s movies. Later, in 1963, he appears in Bonanza, and also 1970, Daniel Boone. Nels Nelson. But I wanted to walk over here. Respectfully, I'm going to ask what the significance is of burning incense. I'm asking this respectfully. If anybody knows, leave me a comment. Beautiful flowers. Next stop would be I guess a cartoon voice and also an actress. We're at the grave location of Bea Benare. She voices Betty Rubble in the Flintstones. Also plays a part of Kate Bradley in Petticoat Junction. You also probably remember she made appearances in the Beverly Hillbillies. Died in 1968. Like a lot of child actors, our next stop started out doing commercials. He did a Gleam commercial, the Gleam toothpaste. I don't know if you remember it. He also started his acting experience. First 3 years, he's in Lassie. Ken Weatherwax, you know him as Pugsley on Addams Family, which surprises me. It only ran for 2 years, but you can catch him on reruns on YouTube or just about anywhere now. He dies 2014. Y'all smell this rose. Man, it smells good. Thanks for hanging out with me and watching this to the end. That really helps me with YouTube, and the longer you watch, the more YouTube is willing to promote the video. So I appreciate you doing that, and I'll see you on the next one.